believe we are live. So, hi guys, it's April, and I am here with Shae.
Hi guys.
And let's see if I can get all of this up here, and then maybe get
Oh yeah,
it.
we got to do the sharing real fast. Hold on.
Yeah, tweeted out. There we go. So, we are here to talk about Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. And as you can tell, I'm in a new location. And it's kind of exciting. All you can
Because
see
April
right
moved
now is
house.
a cat tree. But, that's exciting, I suppose. Okay, so Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. It was touted as a Mulan meets Project Runway kind of style thing. So we've got a young girl. I keep calling her Maya. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name.
That's what I always called it.
Yeah. We have a young girl, Maya, who is a very good tailor. She likes her job, but she's female, so she can't really call herself a master. And then one day, the king says that, hey, I need the service of either your father or your brother, neither of which are capable of coming at the time. So she pretends to be your brother, and then this whole clash of trying to become the royal tailor ensues.
Because, she pulls a Mulan, cuts her hair, and goes in her
Right.
father/brother's place and to come and have this Project Runway style tailor off, I guess.
Right. So I'm going to shoot to Shae first for her to just give us a small little dump of what her thoughts were on the book.
All right, so in general, I have to say that I really enjoyed the read. I found it to constantly be intriguing. There was always a little bit of something in each block of pages that we were reading, because I did buddy read this with April and with Lindsay Tutt, and so we did about 50-ish pages a day. So in each block, there was always something big that happened in that block. Sometimes multiple things. But so that description of Mulan meets Project Runway is really like the first 150-ish pages. After that, it kind of takes on its own story, going into all the other different mythos that felt a little more like Middle Eastern rather than like that Eastern or Eastern Asia, so like Western Asia rather than Eastern Asia kind of feel to the mythos, which wasn't necessarily bad. I mean, there were definitely like Aladdin references and such in this book, but I really just ended up enjoying the read all around. But I am a little disappointed that we didn't get to have more of that true like Mulan-esque kind of journey. Like even after the competition part ends, like, we could have still kept it more in that Mulan vein rather than trying to go and play in all these other mythologies.
Yeah, I think I even noted at one point that it started taking on elements of another completely different Indian fairy tale
Mm-hmm.
that is centered more around this young girl whose father can't find a woman as beautiful as her mother and decides that he wants to marry his own daughter.
Oh, yeah, you were
Yeah,
mentioning
and
that.
so she creates this hopefully this roadblock for him to do this task of creating these very magical dresses, and that's where we switch from the Mulan reference to this fairy tale aspect of these three magical dresses that Maya has to go on a journey creating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I liked that part of the story a little bit more than I felt like the first part of it was so rushed in the contest.
Exactly. Like, I wanted that drug out a little bit more if that's how they're going to pitch the book to me.
Right.
But the latter part of the story was great. And I honestly think if they would have stretched things out, it could have made like two excellent books. And I know we're going to get another book, but it's one of those things where it's like, why didn't we just let it stretch, let it marinate, let it really come into a film rather than rushing through it. Like, that's just how I felt about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was. Oh, okay. How do I put this?
I
I
enjoyed it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it like a 4 or 3.5, somewhere in that
I think that's
range.
where mine was too.
Yeah, because I liked seeing some of these characters, some of these magical aspects, but I went in picturing a lot of things in um, the Eastern Asian style and the culture, and then all of a sudden we
Mm-hmm.
started getting a lot of these references to the Arabian Nights and this Indian fairy tale, and I had to like completely shift my brain.
And we definitely had our A Whole New World moment.
Right, yeah, and,
Like,
which was great because I was just singing the song as I was reading the story.
right.
But
And it was fun, but it wasn't what we thought we signed up for.
exactly, and I also there were parts I liked seeing the romance kind of start to develop, but
Uh-huh.
part of me felt like it went too quickly all of a sudden. You had this
Yeah, it
like kind
definitely
of
felt a little like rushed slash forced.
right.
I think that's probably my biggest complaint with the whole book is that it was just rushed.
Yeah, because
Like,
you had
if,
this dipping of their toes in the water of kind of sort of getting to know each other, and then all of a sudden it's like, let's do this. I'm like,
yeah.
but where's that in between that build that
Like, we
I
needed that
love?
build up, that development. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, if this book had been like 150 pages longer and things had kind of like been flushed out throughout, it would have probably been a 5-star read for me. Because like the content within the book was good. It was
Mm-hmm.
just so rushed. So if it had been like stretched out and like filled out a little bit, it could have been amazing.
I agree. And I'm gonna say hi to Elizabeth.
Hi,
Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, no, and there were a lot of interesting things with the magical system. And I know at points I giggled because when we first met, um, oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? The royal,
Emperor Assistant.
yeah, the mage guy.
Yeah. I can't remember his name right now either.
It's gone.
I read too much this week. That's what I'm chalking it up to.
But when we met him for the first time, I'm like, he's starting to sound like a djinn, like a genie.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then when we start, this is gonna be spoilers from this point on. Sorry guys, just putting that
Yeah.
warning up. But when he started saying, I've got so many different names, and one of them is Jin, I'm like,
Right.
ding.
I'm like, ah, there we go.
I'm like, I knew this was coming. I knew I wasn't crazy. And that was kind of at the
Right.
point, too, where I was starting to see the Middle Eastern references rather than the
Uh-huh.
East Asian reference. I'm like,
Like, the second he said that, I was like, oh, okay, I can see where this is headed now.
yeah, because I can't claim to be all knowing of Asian culture whatsoever.
Oh, God, I'm
But
I'm really ignorant to a lot of it, too.
yeah, and I don't think, I think the gin is mostly just the Western
Yeah,
influences.
I really think that is primarily like that Indian, Middle Eastern side of Asia.
Right.
I don't think it necessarily pulls into like the Chinese and the Japanese. And like I said, I thought that's what I'd signed up for. So it's not that it's bad that it went that way. It's just not what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think the book wasn't did properly in that aspect, where you thought you were getting like a particular culture and a particular reference, but you've spread to so many more to try to encompass all of them that it was. Uh, what am I trying to say? It felt a little scattered, I guess,
Yeah. No.
because she couldn't focus on one area of Asia's mythos that she wanted to play in. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other like Chinese mythos and things that are similar that she easily could have played with, rather than having to jump to the other side of Asia to tell the rest of her story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of. There were certain stories and influences that she really, really liked. And then
You could tell that in the writing,
she
yeah.
tried to put them all together. I think that's what happened.
And so it was a little bit of a mishmash. I'm hoping book 2 kind of stands on its own and doesn't rely on various mythos quite so much. Because I'm interested to see what's developing there. I mean, I thought the book ended on very cliffhanger, and I'm definitely invested enough to check out book 2. But it's one of those things where it's like, I hope it's a little more streamlined, I guess.
Yeah.
Streamlined and not feeling rushed.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get a little more build to...
Yeah, like I said, it needed like an extra 150 pages to like flush out the characters, to flush out what was going on interaction-wise between the characters, and some things like that. Then again, I like long-form fiction. I like a well-developed story. You and I are both the same that way.
Yeah.
So I find myself preferring the more fleshed out full story rather than the rushed short little bits kind of story. I mean, like, even for example, another retelling that's been really big in the community lately is House of Salt and Sorrows. That one took a simple fairy tale and flushed it out into this beautiful, moody, like spooky story, and it ended up being fantastic. Yeah. Where she easily could have taken a Mulan style story and flushed it out and made it its own story, and had it only be the 350, 400 pages that we read, but it was just focused on one story. And I think that would have been much more interesting long term to me than the jumping to so many different ones to tell them all.
Yeah, the little bit of hodgepodge.
She could have made it a series where she like spent time with a different mythos in each book. Like, it could have been really cool.
Yeah, I almost feel like what is the series by Renee Audier?
The Wrath and the Dawn.
And the Ashes.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, there was a little bit of the similar feel in how there was this mismatch of different...
Sabbath here. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, did I just get that all mixed up?
Yeah, you had said Renee Audier. I'm like, Renee Audier does retellings, but not Ember in the Ashes. So I'm like, wait, brain catching up.
It's been a long month. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ember in the Ashes. Sorry, excuse me. Apologize for that. Bad booktuber here. That's okay. But it had the same feel of the mix and match of different mythos and fairy tale references for the different creatures and things like that. And there were points in the story when she's going through the task where... And maybe it is because we're both so used to these fantasy style epic journeys where there's a lot of build up to these different tasks and things like this. But I felt like their journeying was supposed to feel long, but it didn't. And then all of a sudden you were there, and it felt like it took 2 seconds to grab
it took like 2 pages to go through the task, and then it's like, okay, we're moving on.
And he kept on saying it's going to be dangerous and it's going to test you in mind, spirit, body, and all that kind of stuff. And
then 2 pages later, we've moved on. I'm like, okay.
You didn't really feel like it was a lot of building and development because of those tasks. You didn't feel like a different person at the end from the beginning. And those are usually what those tasks are supposed to do.
Yeah, like, I just felt like our characters remained kind of in that 2D realm where we're just kind of looking at them and watching them do things rather than getting to know them. And that's kind of how it felt through the whole thing. Like I say, my biggest complaint is just I wanted more. It's not that it was bad, I just wanted more.
Yeah, no, it was a very quick and easy to get into read. I liked her writing style, for sure.
Oh, yeah, very much. Like I said, I just wanted more of it.
Yeah, So I mean, there was a lot of good things about it, but given what the story was and how we were coming at it as a retelling of Mulan, and that's how what everybody kept on talking about.
Right,
That's
because that's how it was pitched to all of us.
yeah. I think that's where that disappointment comes in. Because I mean,
Agreed.
if I think if it was repackaged and sold as I mean, how would you repackage
I would
it?
just call it like an Asian adventure because you're dealing with different parts of the continent's mythos, and it really just is kind of this adventure hero's journey kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put that it's the whole like gender bender, girl becomes a boy situation because I love those kind of stories. And so if I heard that in the description other than Mulan, I still would have picked up the book.
For sure.
So, but you and I both, we like that trope.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very much so.
there's just certain things in literature that we both like. And I just feel like it needs to be like this gender bender Asian adventure rather than Mulan meets Project Runway.
Yep. Agreed.
But you definitely get that feel in the first 150 pages.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just you get really confused when you're like, well, isn't this supposed to be going a little farther?
But this is going so fast. We got a lot more book after this. What's going on? That's what we were saying as we were buddy reading it. It's like, man, this is moving really fast.
So I am still going to pick up the second book.
I agree. I'm going to as well.
Because I need to know the rest of her journey on
right. I'm invested everything. At this point, so I want to know.
I need to know how things fix, and then I need to know what the princess who's supposed to be marrying is gonna do too. Now that she's got
seriously
no way to kind of put off this wedding anymore.
Right. Exactly. So what's going to happen there? Mm-hmm. All heck is going to break loose in the next book, I feel. So I think it'll be fun, though.
Yeah, and that brings up another question that Lindsay asked us on Twitter the other day is whether or not we're going to do a continue on in series that we've started for this book club.
And that's something that I'm definitely interested in doing. So maybe what we should probably do is end up putting it out as a poll so that everybody kind of has a say to know whether we should just stick to standalones or first in series, or if we should continue on in series that we've already started. I mean, most of what we're choosing are YAs. Most of our standalones have been adult, but like our series, the couple that we've touched on, have been young adult. So they would be easy to pick up, both of them in a month, if someone needed to catch up. So we'll put it to the people.
Yeah, well, and that's something else that we could probably do at some point too. Is
pick a fairy tale series and like do them all, like the Jackson Pierce series that we read together.
Yeah,
something like that. That'd be really fun. I like series and continuing on because then I feel like you get this. You don't get the individual fairy tales only. You get this overarching story that patches all together. I love that kind of stuff. So.
Yep. No. Yeah, I am all for doing that. And speaking of continuing on, do we want to talk about the next book as I try and find a graphic since we both don't have the book?
Physical copies at the moment. Yeah. So the next one we decided to take October and use its overall general theme in picking our next book. This is one that neither of us have read yet, and so we have chosen The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White. Now, April and I both know that we love Kirsten White's writing, so this was kind of an easy decision. She made a suggestion to be like, oh yeah, let's do that. So I know that we follow, I don't remember if it's Frankenstein's sister or just like a family friend that lives with them. It's something like that. But outside of that, I don't really remember anything.
Yeah.
About her.
If I remember correctly, she's not direct relations, but I think
right. It's like a family friend that lives with them or something, right?
Yeah,
or a cousin.
Or some kind of cousin. I don't quite remember. I don't remember the synopsis off my top of the head. But we
Yeah.
both like her writing, so we figured that this would be a good book for October and all of the scary stuff going on next month.
Yeah. It's true. And I don't do super spooky, and from what I've heard, I can handle this one, so I should be okay.
Well, and for the Frankenstein story in general isn't necessary. It's more of a gothic
Right,
story,
which
not
is why
necessarily.
I'll be okay.
Yeah, not necessarily a scary story. I personally really liked Frankenstein,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's just because it does a lot of looking into human nature
Right.
and what all of that means, and kind of like the starting of the sci-fi genre.
Right, exactly. And it's one of those things where it's like when I'm watching Star Trek and they're exploring like the human condition, I love that kind of stuff so much. Especially when they take characters like Data from Next Generation, whose biggest desire in life is just to become human, and you see him explore these different facets of human culture that we don't even like think about, but then he's like breaking them down into something. It's just so fun and so interesting.
Uh-huh. Nope, I agree. So I'm
Like
excited.
emotions.
Yeah. So
I've been watching lots of Star Trek lately, so that's probably why that's at the forefront of my mind. But yeah, we're like, we're halfway through season 5 of Deep Space Nine. We're trying to get them all watched before Picard starts
oh yeah, I
because all the
forgot they're doing
filming on
that.
that is done. We're assuming it's going to start like January-ish. So we're trying to get all the way through Deep Space Nine and all the way through Voyager because there's been hints in the Picard trailers that it's going to tie in characters from Voyager, characters from Deep Space, characters from Next Gen. It's going to tie it all in. So
Nice.
we're really interested in making sure I understand everything because I didn't really watch Deep Space Nine or Voyager when I was a teenager, but I did watch Next Gen on and off. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I fall asleep to Next Gen most nights anymore. But,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
Star
Anyways,
Trek.
on that tangent.
Yeah. Star Trek was never really a huge one for me. I mean, I've seen all of the movies and I've watched The Enterprise.
Uh-huh.
And I absolutely loved that series. Though my character, I mourned for a long time because
Yeah.
of that series. But I don't know. The Picard one does look kind of interesting.
Right. But you would have to like go back and watch them all. So
Yeah.
if you need something to binge, it's all on Netflix. But anyhow, another thing, do you want to take a few minutes and talk about BookNet Fest and the fact that we actually like met up in person?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, that was in September. September's been like the craziest month ever for both of us,
exactly. Yeah, we both got to finally meet face to face at
which
BookNet
was
Fest,
cool.
and I
Clearly, we
thoroughly
don't
enjoyed
hate
it.
each other, so we're good.
And we were just as chaotic and chatty as we are right
It's so true. We're so like organically ourselves when we're just online or like doing these live chats that like just meeting in person felt like so natural. Like
hmm
there wasn't that weird awkwardness that there is sometimes when you go from 2D to 3D with people.
Right.
I had that with some other people at the conference. But for the most part, like just like the second I saw you and your hubby, I was just like, oh yeah, this just feels totally natural.
They're normal people. I suppose I can hang out with them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, they're exactly as I expected them to be. That helps a lot. Oh, so yeah, that was really fun. I don't think I would go again next year. I think that's one like every other year I could go to, but not every year because that's really expensive for me. I mean,
Yeah.
coming clear from Utah, and you had a similar expense, I know. So
Yeah, we ended up buying plane tickets twice. So
Yuck.
hopefully they move it outside of hurricane season. And
Yeah,
that was the
and
big
that's
issue.
been kind of the general consensus is that they want to move it. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of when.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we were flying into a possible hurricane situation for BookNet Fest.
We just missed Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah.
Literally, they opened the airport at noon. We landed at 6. I think you guys were like an hour behind us or something, or
hmm
right about that same time.
Yeah,
But
we were
yeah,
around that same time too. Yeah.
so it was like by 6 hours, we missed all the crazy.
Yep.
It was a little too close for comfort. And I had this panic that when I landed in Detroit for my layover, that I was going to be stuck in Detroit until they could get us to Florida. And I was so worried, but
Yeah. That's kind of what we thought was going to happen when we were in Newark, is that, like, maybe we'd be stuck here for a little while. And we were pleasantly surprised at the newness of the Newark airport, so we were okay with being stuck there for a long period of time. But I'm glad
yeah,
that we
Newark
went.
is actually it's one of the nicer airports in that area. I'm surprised they took you that far over
Yeah,
to go
I
down.
have
Like,
no idea why. We weren't even supposed to be there originally. We were supposed to go through Chicago. And then last minute, as we were starting to go to the airport, our flights got changed. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good sign or a bad sign.
right. Maybe it would have been like easier to accommodate you there if you got stuck, and that's why they changed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Who knows?
I'm surprised you guys didn't just end up in Detroit like we were, because that was a lot closer to you guys.
Right.
So
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, it was fun. I'm so glad we did it. We'll have to find a convention next year in a different place to go to.
Well, and I keep thinking maybe we should go up to the one up in New York. Which one is that one?
That's BEA and BookCon, right?
Yeah, I was thinking BookCon, because then we can go and harass Steve for a little while.
Yeah, that could be really fun. There is a chance that I will be in Kansas City in the spring, though.
Ooh.
I have a friend who's trying to get me on a manga panel happening at a con there. So if that happens, I'll have to like make sure we get a chance to meet up or something, because it shouldn't be too far.
You'll have to send me the information on the conference, because I might have to like sneak down there, since it's like right next door.
Right. Or it's one of those things where I would like drive out there, because I would be fine driving it. It wouldn't bother me at all. I like road trips. I'm weird that way. So I could like just like crash at your place maybe, and then go to the con. Like, yeah, meet all the nakeds.
It's true.
Because I haven't met the nakeds. Because you're not going to take them to Florida with you unnecessarily.
No, that would be
nightmare. Exactly. But yeah, anyways, so yes, Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein for October. And we liked Spin the Dawn. It was just not what we were expecting.
Yep, that pretty much.
I think that pretty much sums up what this hour chat was about.
Exactly, and I think the next live show is going to be over on your channel. I'm trying to remember what day that will be.
Let me pull up my calendar.
Right.
Because we want to make sure we tell you the right day. Because we're both spacey enough today. It's best to check. So it's the 27th.
Okay.
So it'll be the week of Halloween.
Perfect.
All right.
I like it. And Halloween's my favorite. So, ready.
Most people love Halloween. I'm the scaredy cat who doesn't love it.
That's okay. We still love you anyways.
I'm glad.
Okay, and with that, thank you guys for joining us today and listening to us babble. We hope to see you again next month, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.
Bye.